On Wish TV is brought to you by the Business Equity and Opportunity Show.
Thank you for joining us for Community Link. I'm Caroline Mays. Whether you're interested in art, architecture, history, or science, the Indiana State Museum and historic sites have it all. To tell us about the variety of exciting offerings is Kathy Farid, President and CEO. Thank you for joining us, Kathy.
Thank you, Caroline, for having us. We're delighted to share some of our new and exciting exhibits.
Well, we're excited to have you here. Tell us about the history of the Indiana State Museum in Indianapolis and really what sets it apart.
The Indiana State Museum used to be on Alabama. It's over 150 years old, and because the building, the incredible building that we're in right now, is 20 years old, people forget that there's this long history behind our collecting and the artifacts that we have and the multiple stories we can tell. We have 11 historic sites across the state of Indiana, and the thing that is really important about the work that we do is that we're talking about real people, real places, and real things. These are Hoosier stories. These are people you could relate to, and work really hard to make them relevant for people today.
What exciting exhibits and programs do you have going right now?
One of our new exhibitions is called Influencing Lincoln. And what is important about that is it talks all about the way the Black community was able to help Abraham Lincoln understand about the Emancipation Proclamation. So the way the document was originally written and the way it reads today are quite different because of the influence that the Black community had on Abraham, and really helped him understand what was so important about it. And we are really fortunate to have, as a part of our collection, a copy of the Emancipation Proclamation signed by Abraham Lincoln and a copy of the 13th Amendment signed by Abraham Lincoln. Those are some powerful documents to see when you recognize the connection between him and those documents, and they will be on display as a part of the exhibition through October 29th.
And are these exhibits or that exhibit relevant for everyone?
Anytime you tell a story about influencing people and helping people understand how they can make a difference, whether you're 5 or 55 or 95, we all have an opportunity to make a difference in our community, with our families, with our friends, and it's important to recognize how important your words are and that you use them in a way that can bring things around to be positive.
Tell us about the historic sites that you do have.
We have 11 historic sites across the state of Indiana, and it's always a trick to see if I can remember them all. So I start at the northern part of the state and work my way down. So Jean Stratton Porter is one of the best stories that we can tell. She was one of the first female environmentalists, as well as a movie producer, and her books are known and published all over the world. So we have 2 sites dedicated to Jean. One is her lake house up on Lake Sullivan in Rome City, and the second is Limberlost, that's in Geneva, Indiana. You can see these homes are places that Jean designed and built, and she really is an inspiration to any young woman or any person who says, oh, I can only do this. No, actually, Jean lets you know you can do just about anything. Then we have the Levi and Catherine Coffin home in Fountain City, and that's an incredible story, again, that plays along with the Lincoln story in that it's about having influence and doing the right thing. And it's about the Underground Railroad in Indiana and how that transpired, and the strength and the courage that was shown by Catherine and Levi Coffin because they knew it was the right thing to do. Then you actually stop in Indianapolis at the Indiana State Museum, and if you keep going, you end up at T.C. Steele in Nashville, Indiana. T.C. Steele is one of the most known world plein air artists who is from Indiana. We alone have over 350 paintings of his, so he's very prolific. Many times you'll see his painting and be like, oh, that's T.C. Steele. And so it's a great opportunity to not only learn about T.C. Steele, but to also learn about his wife and the work that she did as a printmaker. So there's always multiple stories we tell at the sites, not just one.
So outside of visiting the various sites and touring the museum, are there other things that you allow to happen in the museum?
Absolutely, because museums are a place to bring people together, to socialize, whether it's a family or friends, or even if you just want to go to the museum to be someplace to learn something different and be curious. You could attend Thursday evenings. We're open later, so if you work or your weekends are packed, you can be at the museum for extended hours on Thursday night until 8 o'clock. We have all kinds of camps for young children, down to having preschool camps, which I find fascinating, and they're really fun to watch, as well as all kinds of programs that happen throughout the day. We do programs in conjunction with the exhibitions. We have a Frederick Douglass play that we did with the Asante Children's Theater that marries up with the exhibition, so you can see the art and the exhibition at the same time. So there are multiple ways you can visit our sites. Many of the sites have outdoor components, so you can do hiking or learn about different flowers and on all types of things. So it's not only one thing to do at the site, but there are multiple ways you can visit.
Well, Kathy, I want to congratulate you on such beautiful sites, and with the main museum here in Indianapolis, so much to do there. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for this week's Community Link. To share this story or learn more, head to wishtv.com. We'll see you next week.